Добрый день, дамы и господа. Мы рады приветствовать вас офлайн, и мы рады приветствовать зрителей нашей
Никто не сказал.
И нам очень часто говорят наши коллеги, почему вы называете себя меценатами?
Today we are often asked why you are using mecenates, not sponsors. Today we are arguing about that because you know that sponsorship is often there is a reciprocal reaction. It's not only giving, receiving, but a giving the product which he's investing. And today we recognize that unfortunately business not always see enough number of sports products. That is why business, understanding its responsibility, social responsibility before the country, often just helping to those clubs, but not getting back qualitative sports content, sports product, or the opportunity which business could take for increasing the sales and so on. That is why in our turn we have decided to make a program which we have named and in which framework we are trying to support the projects which are trying to develop and teach many people. And if you can see the mission of our project, we would like to say a few words about our projects which we in the framework of educational platform have already succeeded. It's a library. We named it as a library once upon a time, but today we can see that we have a lack of literature which is needed by our specialists. We have representatives here, and I'm sure that representatives from science are watching us now, and they have done a lot in order to generalize those data in our sports management. But anyway, this literature is very specialized, and we have much more need of it. First of all, the literature which would expose the international experience. That is why we have decided to create an international platform. It's an initial stage. It's not only the books which we can produce, but we hope that in times it will be a platform for platform for charity. For charity, a product which is of interest to people. Today we have made translation of some of these products. We have also always believed that there are some names, important names, and important coaches who could tell a lot of interesting stories of how they have created themselves, created their teams, and their way to success. The next topic, which for a number of years we are developing, is the topic we should like today, along with our sports journalist, to make a sports journalist. Sports journalistics. Besides of it, the media journalists, they consider that those media journalists, they are most important freelancers who take over responsibility along with us, with business, to support sports, because of them they draw attention to the problems of sports, and in such a way they preserve and support the sports. Today we have many problems, and we pay much attention to those problems, and we are convinced that those sports journalists should increase in number. We know the statistics, but however, many publisher houses are closing, and these topics, many sponsorship contracts are not closed, and that is why we want to continue this work in this line. The next step is a media club. PM Media Club, not only to develop the possibilities to write and to teach those people, but microclimate which must exist between the sports business and the society should have interesting projects, and for last years we have succeeded in many interesting projects, starting from sports projects and ending with education and so on. In the nearest future we have fixed a special date in April. We'll become a general partners of one more direction, which could be of interest for you, for all the people who are watching us. The second year we are a partner of Business Club, which is arranging conferences on sports marketing, and we are convinced that it will be interesting and useful, and that's why we invite you and your partners to visit our beautiful event. And today we would like to present our next project, which we are organizing jointly with the Sports Talk Club, because we consider that it's right time now to establish an appropriate platform to communicate, to establish communication between the professionals, because there are thousands of clubs who are united by federations of different teams, and it's exactly that great luggage, the great potential of our country, which should be supported professionally via the prism of understanding of know-how, how to establish those sports projects. We have discussed with our partners, and we know your achievements of beautiful sports marketing. We have beautiful teams which are working within football and hockey and other kind of sports, but anyway, more and more as a business we encounter a simple question: please help us, give us money, and we will offer to you such and such services. And what today sports representatives are proposing to us, it's not always interesting and useful for us, and our task today is to go in depth and to consider which are the contact points which would enable business to be more open, and not only to expose sponsorship, but to find those interesting items in business which in our future meetings we will try to unite all together and to explain what and to study what of them are of most interesting for us, because those like our people are representatives of other companies. That is why our main company to help you, to help the sports managers who are sincerely love sports and who try to make their federations, teams better. That is our main target, what we will see today. That is our main aim, and we are thankful to one of the leading publisher, the Tribuna.com at the Sports Publishers House, and our colleagues. You will meet them today, and also we welcome to our new joint project, and we have started in two ways. We will be able to make an online course, and you will see it will continue. But the fact that we have put you together today, not all of you, only those who have been registered, that is why at random we decided who would be able to come here. But in offline, we'll try to establish a permanent communication, and I'm convinced that sport in Ukraine will flourish. First of all, because of you, because of those people who today are giving a lot of their soul, a lot of their heart to the product which is on pipe today. Thank to all of you. Now I'll pass the word to representatives of sports club. The trademark Parimatch will always stay line side by side in sport with you, leading us to new achievements. So we go to business, digital in sports. Why we have chosen this topic for the first meeting of the club? Everything is very simple. It was your demand. We have made a questionnaire of sports marketologists in Ukraine, which topic will be most interesting, and you voted for digital sport. It's nothing to... It's a social networks, it's a play, it's a moment of ticketing, attributes. People are raising money on YouTube and Instagram. So there's little to wonder that everybody is interested in this topic. That is why we'll consider from different sides. We'll have 4 speakers and maybe a special guest who has arrived only today in the night to Kiev. Maybe he will join us. What is digital? Today is entertainment, involvement, and monetization. Unfortunately, today the company has only one. It's only miners club. Nothing else has this system, and a little of people, they know the fans by face. They know who buy car, who buy the scarf of the club, and other information which is not available with the clubs. But the world is moving, especially in America. RMS system is working in full swing. And there is a question of involvement of fans, especially the generation of 10, 12 years. They are not interested to go to stadiums, to football match, because there is cyber sport, there are some clips and other possibilities, and they are not involved like just going to the stadium. That is why digital is engagement #1 in the world. You have the dynamics, the progress of La Liga's digital strategy. It will be in April, and they will explain to us how they will work. It's just a small teaser, and in 7 years they have succeeded to collect 100 million subscribers. It's in 2013-14 they have 9. Now they have more than 30. If we look at the channels which is the highest revenue, for example, who know our 2 channel at YouTube? 0 hands, but this is one of the most popular channels on YouTube. They have more than 15 outdated figures, but now it's more than 13-14 million of subscribers. These are the films of football. They show how to strike the ball into the gates, how to make tripling, and they're raising money on this content. Now we look at Instagram again. How many teams, federations, clubs are working with Instagram? Let us look at Juventus, 72 million subscribers, seemingly too much. But only Ronaldo has more than 200 million subscribers. That means one player is most popular than a whole team. It speaks that the sports ingredient is not #1 factor. What are you telling? What are the unique niche that you have found for your unique project, and what is interesting for your auditorium? Now we will see that one player could be more popular than the whole club in total. The last slide, before passing the word to my speaker, is exactly the recent case. The blockchain platform, this is a possibility, the way to involve the fans in the life of club. It's a company, Chiliz. It has concluded contract with Juventus and recently with Barcelona. But Barcelona will earn about 80 million euro only because it will sell the tokens of its club and involve the fans. One of the speakers with whom we spoke before our event, he is of opinion that blockchain and token will come practically in life of every sports club, and that's why it will be very interesting also to listen to him. So in general, I've got a very short presentation just to put you in line of our business. Now we'll connect with our first speaker. They say that he is online now. I will please meet Oscar Ugas. He is a lecturer of Real Madrid, the strategic director of atomic block marketing, and for more than 4 years he was working for Madrid Real.
Yeah, we are fine. Hello. So,
Thank you for having me.
yes, we hear you very well.
Okay, great. We start.
Yes, 25 minutes you have to share with your knowledge with us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Do you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes? Okay, great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's see this chart, okay? In the lower part, you have a scale that is the wages. Less wages and more wages, okay? The clubs that pay less wages and the clubs that pay more wages. On the left side, you have another scale. Less points, more points. That means the points that you make when you make goals. Where are the usual champions? Where you will say there are the usual champions? In number 1, in number 2, in number 3, in number 4? If you are saying that is in number 4, you are right, okay? Because it's maybe because you know that the sector, okay? This information that is plotted by the Financial Times, for example, and Deloitte Sport, okay? This is the Premier League. You are seeing that the clubs that are the ones who pay more money in the lower scale are the ones who are making more points. It's the ones who are in the upper right side of the screen, the red dots, okay? The red dots are the ones who win the Premier League. What it means? This means that the guys who have more money to pay for more expensive player make more goals and win championships. Okay, that's the thing. You need more money, a lot of money to pay for this. Once in a while, something strange happens. The singularity, no? In the Premier League is Leicester City, no? With little money, they win the Champions League 3 or 4 years ago, no? And everyone says that this is going to change the world of sports, of football. This is showing how people using other ways to manage the sport are winning. Next year, Leicester City, the Foxes, almost disappear from the Champions League. Okay, what happened at the end of the season? Claudio Ranieri out of the club. Okay, why? This is the monopoly man. Okay, this is the president of a football club. The president of a football club never plays with singularity. He wants to win all the time, and he knows that the way that he needs to use to win all the time is to pay for very expensive players. So he needs a lot of money. Okay? When you need a lot of money, you need to have a predictable way to win that money. So what do you use? You use traditional business models. You sell broadcasting rights, you sell ticketing, you sell commercial rights, sponsorship, licensing, etc. Okay? This is a way like football clubs make their money. This is a Deloitte Football Money League report. Every year you see this, and every year is the same. The same 3 ways to do money. Successful way to do money. If you see for the last 15 years, broadcast has grown 8% per year, commercial night pay 8% per year, and ticketing 4.2. Even in the middle of an economic crisis in 2007 and 2008, these ways of doing business in the world of football keep making money. Okay? How this monopoly man and the people that work with them work? What are the ways that they use? Well, they work season by season. That are the time frames. Their time frames are seasons. What are the assets that they use? They use athletes, they use teams, they sell the image rights of these athletes and those teams, and they sell competitions as content and to sell tickets, or maybe as content as events to sell tickets, or as content to sell you broadcasting rights. What are the skills of this monopoly man and their executives? They are good at sales. They are good at negotiation. What are the KPIs? How they measure themselves and rejoice themselves about how good they are. Okay, they count how many deals they close and how are the revenues per deal. Okay, how much money they make per deal, and also they count how many tickets and how many shares they sell. Okay, and they have a proven way to do this business model. Every year they don't reinvent the business model. Every year they try to renegotiate the same type of contract with certain adjustments to try to repeat and replicate the model. Okay, this is how many big sport properties work. If you look at the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, the National Hockey League, all people work the same way. They have a proven business model, broadcasting rights, ticketing, licensing, sponsorship, and they keep replying and replying and replying and replying this way. Football is the same. Okay. What is digital, for example, in all this? What is digital innovation and all this that everyone is talking all around? Okay, if you look at digital, for example, nowadays a very big football club, I am not going to say any names, maybe, for example, make 80 million euros per year in digital. Okay, in that digital that I am mentioning, I am including selling tickets via digital. That is not a real innovation because everyone wants the tickets. The only thing that you are doing now is you putting the tickets in an online store for people to sell them. It's just a new distribution platform, but it's not, well, disrupting innovation. The same with merchandising. So, okay, it's 60, 70 million. How much is that in a big football club that have a total revenue of 700 million or 750 million? It's 9%, okay? So the people inside the club says, well, digital is important, is the main business? No, well, we don't know. Even we think that maybe digital is just a result of the inertia of the traditional business. We are very good selling tickets. People wanted our tickets. So the only thing that we have to do is that we have selling them digitally. So, well, it's something that is interesting, but it's not a big game changer that everyone is saying. Okay? That's the thing that is happening. And indeed, many people think in football clubs in Europe nowadays. Okay? They don't tell it to you publicly, but that's how they think. Okay? So the monopoly man is asking, why so much fuss? The problem is that digital, as any innovation, start with this diffusion curve, no? That people that start making new things and testing new stuff and innovators, no, are very small percentage of the market, no? There came the early adopters, then came the early majority, then came the late majority, but that takes time, no? At the beginning, it's a small market of people who is consuming or using, I don't know, football or sports in digital, no? Comparing with a traditional way of watching or consuming or engaging with football, no? TV or going to the stadium, etc. Okay. Also, because digital is very different, no? When you go and talk digital, the time frames for making digital innovation are different. It's sometimes are middle long term. It don't move in seasons, no? The assets are different, are technology, data, content, and image rights, but as iteration, no? Maybe as a mobile game, I don't know what. The skills are business model generation, consumer discovery, data analysis. It has nothing to do with the traditional skills of football, okay, or football business, okay? What are the KPIs? Fans, engagement, digital sales, indirect value, like, for example, resell the user data. And that the procedures are also in clash because it's not a linear way of doing business. Normally, when you create something innovating in digital, it's an iterative process. You do a lot of a little launch and you do a process and then you commit a mistake and you go back, you pivot. This is that classical process of error, miss error, success that digital innovation work with. When you develop an app, Facebook and Instagram and all these platforms start like this. Okay? This, if you analyze this from a theory point of view, someone has studied this. It's a professor from Harvard Business School, Clayton A. Christensen, that coined the term innovator's dilemma. No? He says that normally when innovation goes inside a traditional organization that already have a business model, this traditional organization don't pay attention to the innovation. Why? Because it's a new business model. It don't provide the same amount of revenue, the same amount of money. The ways to manage these new businesses are different from the traditional ones, so they don't consider them. They pay a little attention, but not so much. Okay, it's like a cultural clash. Okay, and that's the problem. That's the thing, because let's imagine that this is, for example, a football club. Who the football club want to please? For example, the sponsor. So what they do? They try all the time to surpass the expectations of the sponsors. All the innovation that they do is about the actual business they have to the sponsors. Instead of offering them just the share, they offer them now, well, the share plus, I don't know, screens inside the stadium, plus, I don't know, banners inside the website, blah, blah, blah. Who is the other big client? The other big client maybe is the broadcaster of the rights. So what do they want to do? They want to please this guy. So instead of putting 3 cameras inside the stadium, they put 10 cameras, okay? But they are trying to keep the same clients happy. So all the innovation that they do is sustaining innovation, trying to keep these guys happy, okay? So, but what happened when, for example, something appears in another market? Let's say eSports. Appear eSports, and the club say, well, eSports, but how much money we can get at? Well, it's not so much. It's something really new. For example, well, it's popular in that segment of young people, but, well, the amounts of revenue in the sponsorship that are moving, well, it's not the same as comparing with our traditional thing. So, well, let's pay some attention to that, but not so much because it's not the big business that we are used to. Okay, so we invest a little money, not surpass the expectations of that funds. Okay, of that funds in esports. When don't surpass expectation, but do some efforts there. Okay. The
Oscar,
problem is what
Oscar,
happens if someday. Excuse me.
Can I ask you to speak a little slowly because our translator
Yes.
slower.
Don't worry.
Thank you very much.
Don't
Thanks.
worry. So the other thing is what happens, for example, if for example these esports get very popular, and we are not ready. If we are not ready to reach, if the club is not ready to that, let's say that the market of esports get very, very popular, and we are not ready to that, we lose that train, and we can commit a mistake because let's say that we lost a lot of business in esports, for example, and the football club anymore don't can capture that value. It can be complicated, no? You are thinking maybe that, well, this is a theory of Oscar. This has happened in the past. Well, let's put some examples, 2 examples out of the football industry. Let's say that you are miners. You are in the mining industry. You want to make a big hole in the ground to extract I don't know, copper or gold. I don't know what. What do you use? You use a vapor machine because that is what mining use. Mining use vapor machines. No? Let's say that someone appears to you and say, the future is going to be hydraulics. You must invest in hydraulics. And you say, no, hydraulics is stupid. Hydraulics is a technology that only allows you to move a small amount of ground. So only farmers use that. So never is going to be useful to the mining industry. So you don't pay attention to mining. What happened? Hydraulics gets very popular and now destroy all the companies that in mining work with steam machines. Nowadays, everything is hydraulics. Let's think about big computers. How computers were some 50 or 60 years ago, big as rooms. Who buy these? 3 or 4 clients. The CIA, the KGB, or I don't know who, and maybe the NASA, they buy these type of things. Someone arrived to that company and say, in the future, computers are going to be very small, are going to be in any house. Even it's going to be in something called mobile phone that is going to be in your pocket. So you have to try to invest in smaller disk drives. And you say, well, that's stupid. Nowadays, our clients are these 3 or 4 or 5 companies that buy these very big disk drives. That's never going to happen. Why we pay attention if that is not our market? And these companies don't pay attention. And that companies, as the companies that make the steam machine for mining disappear. They disappear. They disappear because they are stupid? No. They disappear, in fact, because they are very intelligent. They focus in their actual client and in their actual business. But because they focus in that, they lose the train of the new innovation. Okay? Can that happen, for example, to the world of football? Maybe it's not going to disappear, but maybe it's going to lose a lot of opportunity cost. That's possible. Let's put an example of that. Imagine some years ago, not imagine, think 10 years ago. 10 years ago, people were playing this in social media. No? They were playing Farmville, buying and selling cows, or I don't know, playing Clash Royale. Even today, they play Clash Royale. No? They buy gnomes and they buy castles and compete with other people who have buy, I don't know, what other stupid thing that they have buy, a giant, I don't know what. Okay. If you look, let's say a football club. Okay, a football club sit down some years ago. The people in digital in this football club sit down some years ago and see the numbers of how this market is moving. It's impressive. From one year to the other, the monthly average users multiply by 10, okay? And the games change completely. So that's a market that is moving a lot. It's an interesting market. So for example, for a football club that have already in that time a social media presence and also a presence in mobile phones, say, it's a market that we must enter. What did a football club do? Act like a traditional sports organization. He goes to Palo Alto, to all these companies that make these social media games, and try to sell them the idea to make a game for the club. And the company says no, because we have our own games and we want to be successful with them. What did the guys do of this football club? They come back to the club, to Madrid, and they build themselves their own football game, their own social media mobile game, okay? A type of fantasy manager mixed with a social media component, okay? When they develop, this is something completely new. No one has done it in the past, okay? What did the football club say to them? That's a license. You must ask for a royalty and for a minimum guarantee for the partner that you are working with. And the guys who are making that game say, we can ask money upfront to these guys, because if we do this, they are going to kill completely the innovation, because they are not going to focus in doing really things and testing and proving. They are going to try to focus themselves and try to recoup the money and return to us. But what are you seeing here? You're seeing here the football organization trying to apply that traditional way to doing business, ask for a royalty and a minimum guarantee in a new business model that cannot support that thing, because you don't know if it's going to be successful. Okay? But you see there that the resistance of the organization trying to force them to act the old way. Okay? And also, for example, these guys start making tests and discover that, for example, they make this game in Facebook and in iPhone, and they discover that Facebook is not working because it's not bringing enough money. So they kill the Facebook version, and they go to the mobile one. And the football club says, but you have been bothering me with Facebook, and now you're saying me that Facebook is not working. Yes, Facebook in this case is not working. We commit a mistake. Yes, we commit a mistake, but we are going to continue making the thing that we want. We want to make money with the game. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, they make 1 million with this game. And the guys who make the game were happy. They say, we make 1 million. And the club said, that's stupid. 1 million is nothing for us because we are a club of 700 million. Okay? The football club then go and they sell the idea to other football clubs. They transform themselves into a publisher of games. Okay? They, with that new strategy, they sell 2 million. And the football club said, 2 million. What is 2 million inside a football organization of 700 million? Okay, when a sponsor of that works in electronic games came to the club and say, I want to sign this new deal that is maybe 10 million, they say, yes, but kill this sport effort that you have. And they kill that innovation. You're seeing how this happened. It doesn't matter how much innovation you make, you are only going to have the force, the traditional way of making business of the organization, who is going to try to push you down, not because they are bad. It's because they want to replicate the traditional businesses they work with. It's a logical aspiration, but it can curtail innovation. Okay. Let's say that you want to pursue digital innovation, and with this we have 10 minutes to finish this. Okay. Where do you start? You have all these things happen right now. Thousands of different things: blockchain, OTT, YouTube, social media, mobile phones, China with different social media platforms. Where do you start? How do you identify if there is going to be disruptive innovation or if there is an opportunity? There is a framework that McKinsey & Company have created in 2016, and it's a tool that we use a lot in Real Madrid MBA program. That is this framework that uses supply and demand, okay? And it identifies 2 degrees of change: a modest degree of change and extreme degree of change. And there are 6 scenarios, okay? One scenario is tailored demand. Think about that, okay? You buy a CD today with 10 songs if you only like one? No. What do? You go to Spotify and maybe don't buy the music. You rent access to the music. And you just listen the thing that you want. Technology, the internet has allowed you to do that, to use only and consume the piece that you want. You don't have to buy the whole thing and cross-subsidize the whole thing. You just want to listen to one thing, very specific. How this is affecting sports? For example, people nowadays don't want to buy the subscription of all year to watch the NBA. They just want to watch specific games. What is the NBA is doing? They are testing and they saying, hey, here you have an NBA League Pass where you can buy, if you want the season. If you want, you can buy just one game. If you want, you can just buy one team. Or if you want, you can buy just the last quarter of a specific game. Okay? Because they are exploring this idea of the side of tailored demand, okay? Think about what OTT is doing. A lot of people is saying that OTT maybe is the future for Premier League or La Liga or whatever. But that are not subscription channels. This is not going to work like the traditional broadcasting right deal when you receive a lot of money. You are going to need to go subscriber per subscriber trying to scrap money out of them. It's a complete new way of thinking, okay? Think about the supply side. In the past, for example, you have an apartment and you want to rent the apartment. You have to go to a newspaper. Nowadays, what you do? You use internet to, for example, put up your apartment, your apartment or your house in Airbnb. It's more easy for you to put supply on the market. Think about this. These are the guys who play in the 80s a competition of Atari. You remember Atari? These are the grandfathers of the eSports. Okay, they are playing in an hotel room. They are connected one computer to the other. What happens when you put the internet on top of that? You can put that same game, guys, playing for an audience globally, or including in a stadium, for example. What you have done? You have created esports. Okay, the supply, the capacity to put the supply in the market with very cheap cost at the internet is the origin of esports. Football clubs must pay attention to this, yes, because nowadays they are going to start competing for attention, not just with other football clubs, with other ways of entertaining, including this. But it's very cheap to put in place, in fact, because you don't have to hire very expensive players or put a big stadium or to pay UEFA or FIFA. No, you create this thing and you create a whole different ecosystem in which it's very difficult for the football clubs to enter because the owner of all the rights here is the developer of the game. By the way, the same possibility to be a developer that you miss that we have discussed 5 minutes ago. Okay, you can make new markets. You can put people together, for example. Let's say that the information is asymmetrical. Now you want a taxi, and a taxi don't appear. You don't know where is the taxi. The driver don't know where is you. What did Uber do? It's a technology that uses the internet to put you together and make a deal. What do you do if you put this in the world of sports? There are companies like Field Level, for example, that is like a LinkedIn that is putting together athletes with potential coaches and scouts in the United States. They are making a lot of deals of these guys who want to go to work professionally. They are using this type of LinkedIn to put them together, make a market match. Okay, you can create new value propositions. This is when you, for example, a traditional physical product, you put digital on top of that. Okay, for example, let's think about Catapult. This is not just a vest, this black vest that Salah has. These are vests that have a technology that allows to measure how fast Salah is running or their physical condition. Just to capture that data? No, they are using that data, for example, to do athlete management or video analysis. But in the beginning, it just was a vest with a little sensor, okay? Or Nike. Nike is not selling to you anymore boots. Nike is selling now to you boots with the capacity to measure how fast you run or how faster are you compared with your friends. Or My Kicks. My Kicks is using virtual reality, for example, to help you, to film you when you are kicking your free kicks, and it's measuring how fast you quick, how precise are you when you are kicking to the goal, etc. Very cheap. It's just an application with augmented reality that any mobile phone has. Okay, you can reimagine a new business. You don't go anymore to a tourist agency. You don't go anymore to the bank. Okay, you don't go anymore to buy a Real Madrid shirt. Maybe you buy it online, or you don't go to the box office of Bernabeu Stadium to buy a ticket. You buy it online. Of course, Real Madrid asks you to bring your mobile phone when you go with that ticket. Why? Because they want you inside the stadium with a mobile phone that is fully charged. Why? Because they are going to start selling, making cross-sell, digital cross-sell to other things to you inside the stadium. You see what they are doing? They are trying to, all these processes, make it digital, but also trying to capture and know that it's you who is inside the stadium. You can get people, and the last one is the most complicated. You can rechange completely a platform and a business way of doing things. That's why Google do many years ago when they changed advertising, and now instead of you paying for interrupting people, you pay just people clicking a banner. That changed completely the advertising industry. Who is changing? Who is using innovation to change this? Well, it's a more difficult case in sports, but one case is City Football Club. City Football Group, excuse me. What they are using, they are buying all these teams around the world, and what they are putting together, they are putting together this knowledge of all them playing the same way, all of them capturing the same information because they want to disrupt what? They want to disrupt maybe all this scouting system, and they need this potential way when they can find players and nurture players. Yes. Okay. So this framework is a way that is useful. You can then have this presentation, and maybe you can read this article that is very interesting, and maybe find other ways that it's going to help you to identify where are digital opportunities. The framework is useful. Okay. Okay. Finally, what is down the road? It's going to be most of the same. This potential disruption of this innovator dilemma are going to start appearing in football. Okay. With this OTT thing that is happening today, we are going to see this very soon. And this is hitting, for example, the broadcasting rights, something very important in economic terms. Okay. This is going to continue. Every day is going to appear these new things. You need to have an idea of how to approach them. Okay. And digital is going to keep being not as big as a traditional business now. Maybe in the future that is going to change, and it's going to maybe change suddenly. And maybe football is not going to disappear, but it's going to left a big opportunity cost. It's going to miss an opportunity cost. It's going to leave money on the table. Okay, why? Because there is a new type of talent. The ways of doing things are different. Because there is a different way to process the businesses. Okay, and why? Because the monopoly bank think that people that work in this field, people like me, are freaks. You know, this guy is a freak. This is Santiago Bernabeu. He's a former president of Real Madrid. Okay, in the 1950s, he had a very crazy idea. He built an 80,000 seat stadium in the outskirts of Madrid. And the people say, you are crazy. We are just out of the civil war. Everyone is starving and you build this. Yes, I built that. Okay, they built the stadium. And he do something very crazy. Instead of playing with local players, he started bringing players from abroad, from Argentina and Hungary, and he won all the cups. Then he died many years after that. No? And the people who replaced him in the football club says, now in the world of for example, satellite TV, we need not only good players, we need brands. And they hire guys like this. And they keep winning and they keep making money. A few years ago, a group of people, a group of freaks inside football clubs say the future of football maybe is working in all these areas. And fans seems to love that because a lot of them jump on that idea. No? But the monopoly man is keeping saying, hey, yes, but what is the fuss? The problem is that we are people in search of new ways to do business. Okay, digital people are that. The problem is that we are inside organizations that already have these ways to do business. Okay, but I assure you something, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is not the first time, ni the last time that freaks are going to change how things happen. Thank you very much.
Oscar, thank you very much. I think it was very interesting. Thank you very much. So, коллеги,
25 minutes.
Yeah, you are like a, I don't know, professor. Коллеги, есть ли вопросы к Оскару? Поднимите руку и давайте, если вопросы есть, то их можно задать. У нас есть как раз для этого. What do you think about blockchain? I'm say about it previously before your presentation, and one of your slides have the blockchain, right? Just the sign. But what do you think about blockchain, about tokenization? Barcelona already signed the contract with one blockchain platform. What do you think about this opportunity for sports?
No, yes, I think it's something interesting. Blockchain, what requires blockchain is a scale. It requires a lot of people exchanging the technology of that way of, for example, of using this ledger. The most people that use that, the better, no? But it requires that. It requires a scale. Nowadays, it's used in certain markets, and it don't have still a bigger penetration. You know, the day that we all typical or normal consumers, or more, how you say this, more mainstream consumers are using a blockchain to do these things, like buying tickets, or I don't know, or buy some content online, or consuming content online and using blockchain to, for example, measure that this content is not counterfeit. It will be more useful. I think that there are very, very interesting opportunities, no, to fight piracy, to control ticketing, to control, for example, counterfeit merchandising. That's always interesting, but blockchain as a technology requires to get more scale. And I am sure that it's going to reach that scale in the future, no? But right now it's in that process. It's like happened with HTML many years ago when the internet started, no? HTML slowly more people start using that, more computers were at homes and offices, and then the internet transforming the thing that it is today, no? That's the same thing that is going to happen with blockchain. Sometimes until it's more mainstream, more industries use it, and then we're going to be able to connect and use this centralized ledger to do all the things that.
And we have something with connection. Yeah, no, it's okay. And what do you think about TikTok? Is it future or it's just Chinese social network?
No, I think it's another social media platform. I think that you have to maybe be there, try to test the content, but all the time you have to be, as it happened in any other social media. Why you are there? You are there because everyone is there, and maybe young people. You have to see okay, we are there because eventually we can use that traffic that we have in TikTok or in Instagram or in, I don't know, in where, to try to use that traffic and move that traffic back to a place that interests us. For example, traffic to our merchandise, traffic to our tickets, traffic to our own assets, our own digital assets for the club. If there is a reason behind that, I think, hey, jump on that. If not, is a football club or is an organization jumping in every one of these platforms because they are cool. Oh no, this is a new thing. Oh, let's make some funny videos for that, and then make some funny videos for this. Okay, but what is the objective of putting out that content out? You are trying to capture traffic to bring it back to your business and try to convert them to something, to sell them something, to do cross-selling, to capture data. If it's just, no, I am there because it's cool, it's a stupid approach. You know, it's a very stupid approach.
Thank you. Well, we have a question.
So good day, my name is Roman. I got a question about the rights. I would like to ask you what rights Real got and what kind of rights you put to La Liga, or all rights go to La Liga by agreement or something like that.
No, exactly. Well, right now I cannot talk as a Real Madrid executive because I am a former executive of Real. I am not anymore executive of Real. But what the football clubs do today is that the most attractive content, of course, is the content that you sell to La Liga or to Media Pro or to Telefónica or to Sky. What do you sell? You sell the highlights, you sell the matches, you sell the repetitions of the goals, you sell all these things. That is the big content. Okay, this is the interesting content. Okay, what is the content that you don't sell to these companies? Well, content that, for example, you can make behind the scenes. All these things that you say, oh, now we go and we film the guys training, or we film the guys when they are relaxing themselves doing this thing, or now we have this exclusive interview with this guy or with this other guy. So these are the new content that you created, for example, and you try to monetize, putting them in social media or putting that into your own official TV channel online, something like that. But the more interesting content, the bigger one, football, matches, the highlights, the press conference after the stadium, after the games, etc. All of these go for the guys who pay you money upfront. That's the tip. That's the classical broadcasting right. Okay, a broadcasting right. I'm going to give you beforehand 100 million euros. Here you have. Okay, boom, 100 million euros for you, Real Madrid. Okay, what do you have to give to me? Of course, the thing that are the most attractive ones: matches, games, interviews, goals, highlights. Okay, that's the thing. All that new content that you make behind the scenes, well, are things that you are testing. Maybe in the future I will be interested to attract now, to consider. But right now, what attracts more audience? The game. It's still the game. It's still the game. Is going to be forever and ever like that? Maybe not. Maybe the attention is changing. Nowadays, for example, a little kid, for example, my sons, for example, or a smaller kid that have 15 or 10 years old, they don't watch a whole football match. What they do? They pick their mobile phone and they watch a meme about the goals, okay? Or they are just watching the goals. Or they are knowing about the games because they are watching memes, okay? It's impressive. They don't have the attention span to watch a whole game. In the future, that's the future consumers. In the future, maybe they are not going to pay for the whole season to watch the whole game because they are going to get bored, okay? That's why, for example, the NBA is testing new ways to consume that. NBA is testing, for example, the thing that we see before. Why if people came and only just buy me the last quarter? Why if, for example, people came and just, in the future, in football, imagine, only pay to watch highlights or to pay something like that? Why? Because this is the way that we are changing now. This is the way that we are consuming now. We don't anymore pay for subscription. You pay for subscription for cable? Not anymore. You're cutting the cable. What you're doing, you're paying for a cheaper than cable internet connection. And what do you have? Netflix, HBO, and you say, okay, this month I'm going to pay and Netflix because I want to watch that series. You pay that month, you binge watch the whole thing, and then you do what? You go to Netflix. And what do? You go and you hire HBO because you want to watch the old series. You don't have any fidelity to the thing. You jump to the thing. Or if you want, you say, I don't pay for nothing. I just want to watch YouTube videos of cats every day. And you can do that.
Thank you. We have one more question.
Здравствуйте, переведете, да? Спасибо большое. Меня Владислав зовут. Вопрос
My name is Vladislav, and my question is, what are the analytical methods you would suggest as to small and to big project in order to understand which digital instruments should be introduced first of all and which digital instruments should be introduced later? The main question, the analytical instruments for big and small projects, to understand which we should apply first of all and later. I underline projects. Analytical, business, maybe. Which, do you hear me? Which digital instruments would you suggest to introduce first of all for projects?
The problem with that nowadays is that each platform have their own analytics tool. Okay, if you have Facebook, you have to use the Facebook analytics tool. If you have, for example, Twitter, you have to use Twitter. There are some YouTube the same. Also, there are some companies that says, well, we do analysis and we try to capture the information for all of them, but it's never precise. Okay, it's never precise. The problem nowadays is that all these companies are strong enough to say to you, hey, you want to use my platform, you have to play by my rules, use my analytics. So at the end of the day, you have 10 different analytics, okay? What is the big effort that most companies have today, sports organizations in this case have, is to try to put together all this information, create their own dashboard, create a proprietary system in which they try to make sense of all these analytics, okay? That's also a big complaint in the industry because nowadays all the people that, for example, pay for advertising online are saying the same. Okay, there needs to be a unique analytic way to measure all this information that is online. For example, the consumption of video. It's not possible that Facebook measures the consumption of video in a certain way, YouTube other way, Instagram other way, Twitter other way, because at the end of the day, there is not only one metric. This is not like, for example, on TV. On TV, since the 50s, there is only one metric, or two metrics, GRPs, gross rating points. And everyone in the industry has agreed that gross rating points are the KPI that you are going to use. So you use that in any TV station around the world. Nowadays, you don't have that in internet. Each platform says, oh, no, I have my, Facebook says I have my own KPI, Twitter have their own KPI, Google have their own KPI. So at the end of the day, it's a complication. It's difficult. That's why it's also very complicated, for example, for traditional marketers to try to make sense of digital platforms. It's more complicated because there is not one metric.
Thank you very much. Я понимаю, что мы не до конца ответили на ваш вопрос, но я могу сказать, что у нас будет доклад Дмитрия, который частично, как мне кажется, будет отвечать на ваш вопрос. Там будет большой блок о том, вообще, с чего нужно начинать и когда. То есть нужен ли вам YouTube-канал или не нужен вам YouTube-канал? Вот ответ, например, на этот вопрос звучит у нас через час. Коллеги, есть ли еще вопросы? Нет? Тогда, Оскар, thank you very much. It's a big pleasure to see you by Skype, and I hope that you will come to Kyiv. I don't know when, but I hope that you will come to Kyiv anytime. We will wait you.
I hope to see you soon in person.
Thank you very much, Oscar. Thank you. Applause for you.
Спасибо. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So now we are going further. Maybe reciprocal information. Would you like? Did you assess as interesting? Okay, thank you. Now, in fact, it will be very important to listen to your opinion because this format of our event is first time that we carry out, and we will be very much interested to see the feedback from you, which was missing, which format is more interesting, the foreign or local speakers, what is the volume of information. So obviously we'll transmit to you via email this questionnaire, and we'll be pleased to get your feedback. Now I'm giving the word to Federico Weiner, who was working for a CP company for many years. He is a lecturer on the topic of digital in sport in Barcelona, in London. He is a person who is working not only for cybersport, but in traditional sport as well. Your applauses, meet Federico Weiner.
Pleasure to be in Kiev, I think the 6th time in the last 5-6 years. So I'm getting used to the city, to the country, and it's a big pleasure that you are hosting me today here. As Maxim said, I'm working in Loughborough University. It's the #1 sports university in the globe by QS ranking. And there we have a lot of engagement around sport technology, fun engagement, and how we can monetize and go further in the revenues that we are generating with our sports brands. And that's what I came to talk to you today. It's about making more fans and more money. As more fans we have, probably more revenue if we apply the right strategy. And that's what we are going to talk. However, let me say that I started working in this industry when I was 16 years old in Buenos Aires, in a little town called Banfield. We have a football team in there. It's not the #1 in the country, but we love it. And actually, the revenue in such clubs, when you see the numbers that the big leaders in the world are presenting, have nothing to do. How do you make your brand aware in China if you are playing, let's say, in a 2nd, 3rd tier league in the globe? That's very easy for Barca, Real Madrid, Manchester, Premier League. They have been working on it during decades. How many Real Madrids are there? 1. How many Barcelonas are there? 1. How many Manchester United, City? Yes, some big names. You take out the top 20 in the globe, and then you start struggling not only to get fans in China, you struggle to, fill up your stadium if you are not doing a championship tournament, right? So we need to be aware of this when we make our strategy. Because our strategy, and we have low resources, cannot fail that much. It's good to be innovative. We need to be innovative to survive. But we cannot play too much with fire. Otherwise, we maybe go to 2nd or 3rd division. Many names have happened the same lately. I like to talk with real-life examples. Theories are very good, but business cases, I think they explain much better. This happened in September last year, so it's quite recently. And it actually happened in the Argentinian League. I'm pretty sure you are familiar with this guy, right? Diego Maradona. There is some T-shirt out there alongside Pelé and many other stars across the history. He is obviously, for many people in the globe, not only a football player, he's kind of God, kind of brand to follow no matter where he is. And actually, he became coach, manager of a 1st division team called Gimnasia Esgrima de la Plata, which, by the way, is the oldest in South America. Okay? So people got crazy about Diego. A lot of new T-shirts came into the town in La Plata, which is around 1 hour away from Buenos Aires, and there was a big coverage from media. In fact, the stadium, on the first game, many journalists need to go to the normal ground because there was no more room in that stadium for such international audience. Good. Let's see some facts about what happened when Maradona arrived in there, okay? So first, Gimnasia La Plata is a, let's say, 10 million euro budget a year club. As you can see, this is not a 1 billion revenue club like Real Madrid. It's pretty much what a 1st division club, let's say, in Ukraine might have today. So it's quite similar. They have around 15,000 associates. In Argentina, clubs are not private. They are public owned by the associates. So the number that measured they pay a fee every month, like a subscription fee, to be members of the club. Okay? Oops, that went away. Can we go back? Yep. Cool. On the first day that Maradona arrived to La Plata, 10,000 up of associates. People was queuing in the door of the club since 6 a.m. in the morning to subscribe. So it's a new business opportunity for the club, a club which is fighting to don't get relegated. And finally, they got a lot of sponsor requests. Why? Because Maradona is such a big name. Many brands wanted to be in there. Okay, so this is what happened. Actually, people was queuing more than 5 hours. Can you imagine people trying to buy something and need to wait that much nowadays when you have every purchase on one click on your mobile, delivered at your home? Clubs definitely took it by surprise that this can happen. And they were happy that, you know, in the media, 5 hours, such a passionate people. Cool, but that's only 10%. You might achieve many more across the globe if you have the right strategy. In fact, the online subscription at that moment was not working. And if you try to subscribe from mobile, you can even enter the website because it's not responsive. By the way, when you subscribe online, it's just a form that arrives to some person in the office that need to later on create your request manually and came back to you. In fact, after all this happened, they ran out of paper in the club. They got no more paper to print the associate card for a few days. So you can see how operations are impacting in a 10 million euro club in simple things, losing the opportunity to gain more revenue. And they haven't prepared any specific merchandising out of the official t-shirt. Many local manufacturers created the t-shirts that the fans were demanding that day and making the money by their own in the city. There was even, I will not go deeper, but there was no partners from, hosting, because there was people from around the country and South America traveling to see this presentation. And this is a city around, 500,000 in the area of influence. The hotels were full, but the club didn't organize anything properly. So there was a lot of missing opportunities out there. That's what we are trying to avoid, actually. The lost opportunities in the world of sport. Yes, there is many things to do in the digital area, but not every club is a top 20 sports brand in the world to achieve it the same way. So we need to be very focused on what we want to do and not necessarily follow what a big name in the world of football or a big name in the world of basketball is doing, because the business model will not replicate the same. Not many clubs are Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, the Premier League, and so on, so on, so on. But there is many more out there, thousands of more clubs that still need to find their gap, survive, and provide players and emotions to fans across the globe. So this is what this is about. We have been spending years after years in the attention to the players, but we need to get back in the attention to the fans. And as this video is showing, we are moving from the pitch to the fan attention, not because we are replacing the whole thing, but because we need to think about this guy here as our customer. He's not a fan anymore. This guy don't find the right way to engage with our brand. As I demonstrated before, the club ran out of paper when they tried to associate, right? There is a study saying that only 2% of clubs across the globe are monetizing properly their fans across all channels. Yes, many of them have a lot of resources and sponsors that help them to do this. But as we will see now, it's not a question of money. It's a question of mindset. It's a question of mindset. It's just, the attention to think that our fan will not come to our game as they did in the generation of ours, or parents, or grandparents. There's many simple reasons for that. When my grandpa started watching games, that was the only attraction in the town, probably twice a month when they play home. There was only radio, friends, beer, wine, maybe play some sport, and that's it. Now, we are getting angry about this. Why? Well, sports says, hey, fans, sponsors, why are you watching new entertainment? They are getting jealous. They are getting jealous. They think they don't understand. They are freaks. We are brands, sports, why they are not coming? They are crazy. We have been in this city. How many years has a football club? Probably more than 50 to 150 already. Yes, there are some brands out there with 20 or 25 years, but that's not traditional football. Traditional football started in the 19th century or early 20th century for many countries. So why a brand that have been there 100 years with their stadium, their local roots, they don't understand that the new fans are not going to the stadium. Why they are not going? Well, there is violence in some places. It's difficult to get the tickets. If you go, maybe you don't have any food to buy, or bathrooms are not adequate, or even weather conditions are struggling you to go there. You will always have, an amount of fans that will go no matter what happens. This is what football is made of. Because football is a religion. If I ask you your favorite team, you will never change it. You might change whatever. But your football team is, I would say, not even 0.5% of the population might change the football team for some reason. It's something that you keep till the end of your life. And if the football club goes to 4th division, you're still, showing even more strength about this. You're still there in the difficult moment. But the difficult moment is now, is you want to make it in the new market. Because the fans, the new fans, the younger fans, and the sponsors are looking to new forms of entertainment, not necessarily that they have been looking for 1 century. Every day, all of us receive 5,000 to 7,000 advertisement impacts in one day. What do we create? Ad block. We want to move advertisement out of our life. If someone comes to knock your door and sell you something, it's not the 40s, it's not the 50s, you definitely want to get right off, because every other device that you have in your life, every other road that you take in the city is telling you, buy me. And know what? New consumers don't want to be told what to buy. They want to feel connected to the brand and then make their own decisions. So traditional marketing is not working. Tell me quickly, how many banners do you remember from the last football game that you went 15 days ago? Probably you have seen the game. You have recorded all the emotions. You know which friend you hugged on the goal, or the person that you cried because you were losing. But you will never remember the banner on the top of the stadium because you just didn't pay attention to it. Maybe you don't even remember the banner on the T-shirt. We are taking this out of our life. So the way to connect is different. We are competing with all forms of distraction of the global new world. As we have seen, all these guys in there are easy to access, 24 hours, 7 days a week, don't demand subscription, don't demand us to take specific risks to consume the brand. Yes, if you are in a social network, you can suffer like in real life, but in general, you can access in a safely way for free. If you go to Netflix, you subscribe and desubscribe every month, no questions. You can even return your subscription after the first 30 days with no problem. And think about now gym subscriptions. The first time I went to a gym, they asked me medical review. I need to pay 1 year in advance. If I want to change, I cannot. So all these business models that clubs have been sustained during centuries or during decades are not what the consumers want. If I ask you to buy a year ticket in my stadium, that might work for certain top-level clubs. Try to sell in a 20, 30,000 stadium countryside year tickets. Try to sell it. Even if you sell it, probably people will not attend. After 10 games, now you can travel. You have cheap airlines in there. Weekends are different. You are not necessarily staying in your town. So we are competing with all of this, with new forms of entertainment. If we don't understand this, then yes, the top 20 football sport brands in the world will still making it. But all the rest, which is more than 95% of the world of sports, will struggle more and more. And we need also to talk about this. In fact, the guys on the left, the Counter-Strike guys, well, in Ukraine, they are very famous, right? The best player in the world is from here. Yes. The team is Navi, the guy is simple, and I can assure you that if you put that guy on the side of Andrei Shevchenko, which was my idol when I was a kid watching football from Ukraine, many of them might just recognize simple. Even Shevchenko is the national coach. Some of them might not be interested in football. This doesn't mean that football will disappear. Forget about that. Football is a cultural fact of our society. Will not disappear. Might mute, but will not disappear because it's a religion of the 20th century that is mutating to the 21st century. However, it might change the way the audience is engaging with it. And yes, in certain areas, might decline. But football as it is will not disappear. And eSports is a good opportunity, but not necessarily every club should invest and go in there. What I'm recommending to many clubs that I am consulting is at least have a reason to say no. It's okay to say no. Maybe your brand don't want to, be related to eSports. It's okay. Your brand might not be related to basketball, so you only play football. That's fine. However, have a reason. Do a market research. Make a decision based on facts, not on presumptions. This is for freaks. This is not for my city. I don't care about this. Well, maybe you do not, but the people in your area might do. And then you have a little opportunity, to increase your revenue maybe by 3%. 3% might be nothing. But if you accumulate 3, at the end of the day, you have a 15. Will you sign off now here a contract, if I tell you for any sport club federation that is present in this room, to increase 15% revenue in 4-year time? In fact, many federations, if they don't get funds from any government, they will not be increasing 4%, they might be decreasing 20% per year. Because federations which are not football or strong enough, they rely on public money. And what's going on with public money? It's not always secure. There is many factors that can influence how we get public money for sports. If a government is changing the politics related to sports, if there is a new politician that is opposed to our football team, right? That happened many times. A new minister is fan of the other club gets benefits, and this club is down. We know that. Happens everywhere, no worries. So, this ecosystem is the same in sports. I'm just showing here the new rule of eSports, which is far away as an industry from sports, however, is settling new business models. And this is what I'm trying to make you aware of today. There is new channels to communicate with our potential customers. And our sport brands need to compete with all those new channels for space. Well, to compete to the other competitors in such channels, better said. We need to gain awareness of our fans in the places that these guys are watching. Twitch, the NBA started to broadcasting in Twitch 3-4 years ago. For the development league, is that difficult to do? Not really. A streaming technology today for even third division game in Ukraine, Argentina, any league in the world is very cheap. Even fans will accept if you stream from a mobile, just because this is religion. Yes, your product, when you are on top level, need to be highly curated. Highly, because as more you create your product, the better. But is it true that in cinema we have class Z movies, class B? There is a niche for that. There's people who don't care too much about big productions. They like to see movies that they are, a little bit funny the way they are produced. So why not the same on sports? Why need to take it so seriously? Oh, if I don't have 20,000 euros, which is what it costs to produce one football game, actually, with the satellite and the journalist and so on, we don't make it. We can make it much cheaper today, thanks to technology. So let's take advantage out of it. Because fans need attention, and technology provides us a channel to make it. Be open-minded how our brands, or sport brands, can achieve this. Because it's a way to scale. The nice thing about the digital world is that we can scale very easily. We can achieve, people everywhere. I'm a big football fan of my hometown team, and I watch it anywhere in the world I am, even 3 a.m., just because it's part of me. And if we provide a channel to do that, then it's much easier. I must recognize that I use, not a, let's say, official page to watch the game of my team, just because there is not. But if we provide it, probably the fans will come and appreciate that. But we need to be open-minded. We need to provide that opportunity. Let's see some next steps, some conclusions of this chat that we are having today. First, keep it in your mind. Sportainment is the new religion. Sports and entertainment had the meaning for people today that for our ancestors got religion in the Middle Age. We go to stadiums to praise, our idols. The same way the Greeks went to the temples to praise their idols. We make reliquia, we make memorabilia. For us, it's Holy Land or a stadium or city. Or colleagues, people that share our own emotions. We might see the game on TV, but if we go to a stadium, we are sharing that chant. That's what sports and entertainment are different. That's why people is competing to get more fans. Because if you get more fans, you get more power, and you get more influence. Is that what this religion have been doing for centuries? Some of them were quite successful. Some others are not. There is new religions out there trying to make their own business now, and this market is fragmenting. And we, as sport managers, are competing with all of this. Because on Sunday has only 24 hours, guys. And if you are going to a temple in the morning, you might not be attending a football game. So we are competing for the time of the people, no matter what they are doing. They might be sitting in the couch, watching Netflix. They might be doing something else. Okay? So keep this in your mind. Second point. Data is gold. The golden medal of the sports industry is not anymore the Olympic golden medal, which, by the way, happens every 4 years, and less people is taking really care about the Olympics in 15 days every 4 years, because there is many more broadcasted sports entertainment events every day. So we are not waiting Olympics like in the 80s. That was the only big event that is happening with the World Cup, right? So we need to collect proper data of our current customer and our target audience. I don't care what that is, but you need to get it in a fair way. Because users don't like to be fooled that I'm taking your data, I'm taking your wallet, and I am selling to third parties. You need to make it transparent. You need to be fair. You need to respect the GDPR rules or whatever other rules are in the country that you are operating. Why? Because people don't want advertisement. They want to feel emotionally connected in a fair way to keep consuming that. If we do it good, they will give you the data easily. If we do it bad, maybe they don't give you their data anymore. Will you put your credit card everywhere? Some people, don't get me wrong. If I take my dad, probably, he's subscribing anywhere with his credit card. Don't pay too much attention and put in password 1234. And then one day he calls me and say, someone took money from my credit card. Oh yeah, you're not paying too much attention to this. But more and more, people is moving that their data is also an asset. This free for everything on internet might be changing in the future because we as a product want more for our data than a free email service or a free video channel. We want more because data is gold, okay? Third point. I don't know if you know this guy, but this guy is God, and it's called customer. Okay? Customer is God. I don't care which religion you are. In fact, I have no religion. My only religion is my football team. I said it, Banfield, right? Okay, so for you, the customer, from now onwards, is your God. You are 24 hours, 7 days a week for your customer. Who is your customer? The fan. But you call it customer. Because customer, you need to service it. If it is a fan, it's supposed that he will come to me. Monetizing my fan. Oh, yes, you need to enter my stadium on Sunday because I have been in this city 120 years. Why you are not entering? Pay me. Pay me for, get cold, don't get food. Maybe, police will strike you or the opposite thing will do, and you will have a very enjoyable experience with your kid. Would you like to come back to that stadium? Probably not. So think about this as your customer. When you enter a shopping mall, when you enter your favorite brand, when you are going to purchase clothes, how do they treat you? If they treat you bad, you walk to the next door, right? Okay, we say that this is religion, so you cannot walk away that easy because you're still attached to that brand. But maybe you don't go to the stadium anymore, you only watch it on TV, or on TV you don't want to pay the TV rights because it feels unfair the way they are charging to you, so you watch it on a pirate channel. And maybe you don't consume the official merchandise, and maybe you don't associate anymore, and so on, till someday you lost attention to it. You still have, remember, 20% hardcore fans that no matter what happens, will still in there. But you are trying to get more prospects. You are trying to get more fans. That's what we were starting this chat about. More money, more fans. If you want to make your brand sustainable, you should take care of your customer. They are customers. And this is the only way I can see this to be sorted out. Sports and technology are not a question of money, are not a question of where we live, region, and so on. It's a question of mindset. When we have the right mindset, love happens. Love happens because we are social animals. And technology can help us to connect humanity. If we take it in a proper way, we are making this love to happen. If we do it in the wrong way, or if we just want to avoid one of the sides, well, you know what happens when you love yourself? You feel half empty at least. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm open to your questions. And if you want to reach me out, you have my email in there, my website. Looking forward to engage with all of you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And you write that dot it's new gold, and I said that dot it's new oil, so it's the same. Дамы и господа, вопросы. Поднимайте руку, мы поднесем микрофон, можно на русском либо на английском языке. Да. И я скажу, что вот мне буквально сейчас Оскар написал, кто выступал у нас до этого, он мне прислал линк на его презентацию. Всем, кто зарегистрировался, мы отправим по имейлу презентацию, которую показывал Оскара. Ссылку на эту презентацию вы можете скачать, ее еще внимательно изучить.
Because you were talking a lot about engagement of fans and how it's important to use fans properly in sports, in the system of sport organization, of the club, football games like this. But you know, it's pretty different in different parts of the world because I don't know how it's in Argentina, but in Ukraine, all clubs, all organizations, they're pretty close, and they, you know, they are very serious about, we are serious guys, we don't want fans to be in the training camps, to talk to players, I don't know. Sometimes it's a problem because I know how it's going on in NBA, on NHL. For example, in intermissions, you can ask player. There is some TV interviews with players, some competition where you can get some T-shirts or I don't know, like a toy with. And in Ukraine, it could happen. It couldn't happen right now. I don't know because maybe it's a kind of mentality or. So, what's your advice in this situation? Is there any limit for the clubs, for sport organization, how to separate, let's say, okay, sport part, just like competition, and how deep fans could be engaged in this process? Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Very good question. You mentioned when I was a kid, this was a typical example. Look at the NBA. Before the game, they put the TV camera inside the changing room, and then you can hear what the coach is saying. And in football, you cannot do anything. I moved out from Argentina 21 years ago. I live in London, actually. And you know, it's not a question of geography. Like, let's say, any nation is not a question of geography. Any city is not. It's what the people that lives in there wants to be. So, as an example, you have the Premier League. Most of the clubs are in London, and it's a very successful league. Other leagues are not so successful with the same concentration of clubs. It's a question of operational management. And you need to be aligned between, let's say, the different stakeholders, at this moment broadcasters, which are a big chunk of every revenue in the sports industry. Probably when we talk about big sports, even more. When we talk about minor sports, then the government, the organizations, and the players, and everyone else, and even the media. You need to try to create a healthy ecosystem. However, this is difficult. There is so many interests out there. Try to make understand fans that, you know, they need to travel in the same train because there is only one train and there is two clubs going the same direction and nothing should happen for the good sake of the product quality. Some fans will tell you, aha. But in England, many years ago, many tragedies happened. Many people died till one moment, you know, from now onwards, this should change. Is this perfect? No. Is this much better? Yes. Is every country in the same direction? No, but we should try to take care of our product because we need customers in our product. Sorry? Well, I mean, obviously, broadcaster is always good, but now let's talk about not even first division Ukraine. Let's talk about third division Ukraine. Do you have broadcasters paying rights in there? Probably not. So what do you do with such rights? Why don't you, let's say, broadcast for free in Twitch, YouTube, and so on? And maybe the betting market that people is playing around can get a channel to watch the game, not only dots saying goal, minute 60, right? All of this provides new business opportunities thanks to technology, but we need to be open-minded. Otherwise, we cannot.
I will give you the microphone because
So the Bulai, because right now we got negotiations with the big betting company about the matches, about the betting rights for the third division, second division, and yes, but we don't have such a lot of TV channel like in England, in our country, to be honestly. So
do we need TV channels anymore? People is subscribing to, satellite rights. I don't think so. They watch on YouTube, they watch online. I get the point that still the big media still have a lot of influence and we should not ignore it. But big media has no time for second or third division, guys, because on big media on Sunday, they are commenting the first division game, maybe the Premier League and maybe the Bundesliga. And maybe what, Shevchenko t-shirt is going to be next week. So, third division, if they don't open their own channel, they completely are ignored. So the way to create a new channel is between technology. And then when you create something little bit healthy, let's say you have integrity in your competition. It's not, everything about match fixing. People trust your product. Because we know how it is in football everywhere. In the last 10 games of the season, what happens? Teams that are not competing for anything, come on. Betting markets became very, very, very difficult to operate. So if we as a federation pay attention to it, if we have a good communication channel, if we have a good organization of the schedule, maybe we can start competing in another league, but with a good product.
We got the same ideas, but on the stage, the clubs, usual clubs think that we signed a contract with broadcaster. Broadcasting bring all events, TV cameras, all this make itself. Club receive the money, and that's always good business. Yes, but in second and third division, they try to develop own some productions, but you know how it looks like. One camera, blah, 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 no commentator, no graphic. It's not very interesting. So this stage is like that.
Next question, maybe?
Я чуть-чуть скажу, что как раз ПФЛ в Украине, да и Светлана тоже об этом недавно рассказывала.
I will try to tell some words about how it happens in Ukraine. I was playing in Street Football Change Liga. It's amateur football, 127 teams, all HD translations, all translations with commentators, with graphics. It's all amateur football. We could have arranged, should you only wish, to organize it.
Есть ли еще вопросы? Нет? Есть.
Можно по-русски, да?
Ну, можете по-английски.
Я лучше по-русски.
What do you think about the perspective of development of cyber sport and some concrete directions in Europe and in our country? And what specifically is different for fans in cyber sport from traditional sport? Thank you. Извините, мой русский недостаточно хорош. Попробую по-английски. Значит, особенно в Восточной Европе этот спорт, он очень престижный.
Continentally, maybe globally, considering the local economy. You know, Katowice, they are playing a big eSports tournament now. Used to be a city completely ignored. Now it's like the hub for cyber sports. The local university is deploying new master degrees and studies across eSports and video gaming. And this is an industry creating new business. In fact, in Ukraine, you have very good examples of, athletes and teams on cyber sports. And I would say that the main difference is that cyber sports can be run 24 hours, 7 days a week. And you can scale it as much as you want. Maybe not the player itself. I mean, you cannot make simple play 24 hours on Counter-Strike because he will start, as soon as he gets tired, he will start shooting wars. But you can still play in Counter-Strike with many different guys all the time. But you cannot play football that much. In fact, a football team will play between 30 to 60 games a year, depending how many cups and competitions they have, and that's it. So you cannot scale more. So that's the main difference. The nature of eSports is different. You have a streaming platform from all over the world, 24 hours, 7 days a week, with many different segments, because it's not the same Counter-Strike than Fortnite community, is not the same League of Legends, Dota 2, for not talking even StarCraft, which is a completely different type of game. So to understand the eSports or the cyber sports fan, what they like. So if you're a sport federation or a sport club going into there, It's not about replicating your sports on digital. Less than 2% of the cybersport audience look at sports simulators like Konami Pro Evolution Soccer or FIFA Tournament. They look the games they like, the games that are popular. So football clubs is not that, oh, I have a cybersport team. They are playing, I have one guy representing with my t-shirt in the FIFA or Konami tournament. That's it. Why I'm not successful? Why people is not watching cybersport? And maybe they even fire the marketing guy who proposes cybersports. And maybe the next year there is no more strategy because it didn't work. Well, you know what? People in cybersports communities, they are waiting you as a football club to create your brand in the games that they care about. If you don't understand what they want, you might be doing something, but it's not going to be successful. Just if I came to you now and I try to sell you whatever as a football fan that doesn't connect with you because it has nothing to do with football. Many times, you watch American sports at any point? I mean, if you're a football fan, you feel sometimes that's plastic. It's okay. It's a nice, the best sports product in the globe, probably. But many of the marketing things that they use don't work in Europe for football fans because they feel like this is not authentic. Is it bad? No, it's just different. So cybersports is the same. I hope makes sense my answer.
Thank you. Ну что, есть ли у нас еще вопросы? Нет?
So what, should we have no more questions? Let us thank our guest. Thank you very much. Also, I would like to thank one of the organizers, it's Football.com, who helped us to bring Federico to Kiev, and of course Parimatch Company, who has organized everything. So we have the third guest. It's Stephen Peters from Germany. He is head of Association of Sports Managers. He is one of the club of managers and the marketologists who is existing for many years in Germany, and he is head of this association. And he has got many digitals, and he has got a lot to do with the digital directions in sport, and there will be the examples of not many popular kind of sports.
So you can watch our room, and a lot of people watch our online. So I give you the speech, so it's your time.
Yeah, thank you, Maxim. It's a pleasure to be here and to speak to you. First of all, I want to introduce my board colleague, Marco Grund. He is now in Hamburg. I'm sitting now in Heidelberg, and it's so crazy to see what happened in East Europe and what you organized, Maxim. Feel proud. So at first, we want to show you why we are today here. And so I will show you a presentation. I would try it. Give me a second, please. So, where is it? There is it. Can see anybody
Yes.
our presentation?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Nice. So we want to talk about the VSD, the Federation of Sport Managers in Germany as well. And so at first, some short facts about us. We still at the market since over 20 years. We was founded as a non-profit organization to connect people in the sports business with the sports industry and build a big network. So at this moment, we are the biggest sports association, or the biggest association for sports managers in Germany, with over 750 members and partners. And create every day again a big network, a successful network, to connect all of our partners inside there. For example, some of the brands where our members are working, some of these brands are partners from our association as well. So next, we're sitting in Heidelberg, some insights from us, and we have a lot of regional managers throughout Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And we are financed by membership fees. So if I get in contact with Maxim, we talk about what does it need to build a big network between all the sport managers, and they are working in the sports business, for example, in East Europe or in the Ukraine. So now we are here to talk about what we are doing because we are over 20 years at the market. And some insights, for example, because we have Marco, please help me, a gender discussion about men and women in the sports market as well in Germany at the moment. And so the insights, Marco, was that ein Drittel?
Yeah, as you can see, 1/3 of our members are women. I think you can hear me, no? I don't know if you everybody can hear me?
Yeah, we hear
because
you.
I didn't introduce myself, so hi everyone from Hamburg, first of all. Yeah, as Stefan said, that, and as you can see, 1/3 of our members are women, so it's a big motivation, of course, of our things we do every day, and a big motivation of our board, of my board members as well, to motivate more women in sport business to change, to be open-minded, as we heard before. We need more, of course, more women, and we need more open-minded people who want to change the sports business branch in Germany, because of course I think as all over the world we have big challenges in Germany in sports branch, and we have to move on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have to say something about our services, or do you want to?
Well, let me start. While we are our reason and why we work is a lot of our services. So, for example, I told you that we built a big network. So we support the career of all sports managers who want it, create a lot of events, create studies with partners. For example, what you can earn as a sport manager in the sport business market. We are in the third round to get a deep dive into these insights of the market. Give some tickets or connection to a lot of other people. They want to go to a big sports summits. Service as a scholarship, making matchmakings, jobs, news and interviews, and a lot of more. This is what we are doing every day for our members. Our mission, it's very easy because we want to bring sports people and business together. And this graphic shows you, for example, some of our members and one of the biggest partners in the sports business. And so this is our mission. How we are doing it? With a lot of event formats. For example, Sport Business Talk like yours. It's called, our brand calls Sports Plus Talk. The VSD Podium, who is created to get connect. If you have an own event, we come and build a slot of them and put a lot of good people and competent people inside the speech. The other thing is to get some deep dives behind, so look at behind the scenes from some companies and so on. We have a event format called VSD Goes. For example, we look at behind the scenes of broadcasters, the sports industries and the FIFA or anything else. So we organize some tours for 10 to 20 people to get a deep dive behind the scenes. And another kind of events are the VSD Stammtisch. I think not if we have an English word for this, but if you as a interesting people in sports sitting together at the bar and talking about it. In German, we say Stammtisch. And so we create a lot of Stammtische in Germany to connect the people on the other way. It's not not the main focus on business, so it's more than to connect the people on the personal level. And here are some posts what we're doing last year, this year, and for example, we create also some sports events for our members, playing golf, playing basketball, soccer, or anything else to connect them on the real sports way. Or here's some pictures from our last scholarship as a jury, and they has to decide who got the scholarship. And yeah, some more pictures about other events. So, for example, at our events, one important thing is that we want to get some information about some other successful sport managers, and we connect them with an interview on the event.
Yeah.
So, also, we have a lot of competent contact persons in our organization who focused on some special parts in the sports market or business, for example, sustainability in event and sports, startups, sponsorships, or esport, or horse riding, for example, horse riding business, or so there are a lot of special parts with organized from some of our members. And at least we have a lot of member interviews to get a deep dive to the other ones. And so, Marco, if you want, it's your part.
Okay, thanks, Stefan. So I just wanted to say that if you have any questions or if you want to contact any contact persons of our federation, of course, you can contact us, or you can check our domain wsd-online.de for Deutschland, as you know, maybe for Germany, and there are all the contact persons you have to know.
Я могу.
So,
one second, can I say a few words? Уважаемые коллеги, я хотел тоже рассказать, что вот.
Dear colleagues, I would like also to say that Fort Foods Club, we also want to create this platform of contact. There are many people working for sport and they don't know each other. Our task is to create a networking so that everybody of you would communicate with each other. For example, if you would like to order some attributes, you know the best prices wherever you can get it for, and you should know the contacts of lawyers who represent the country in arbitrage court in Lausanne or whatever. So maximum useful information we also provide to you. As my colleagues already told, the pitching ideas, we are also planning to do it. We want to develop sports in Ukraine, and we are interested to have an inside information from you to know what tasks you would like to solve for our federations, for our leagues. Maybe students will propose to you some variants. Maybe there will be digital decisions, digital startups. We also will carry out such competitions and ideas to solve the practical tasks of your organizations. For example, I consider myself already an old person, old guy, because students in IT, they have a lot of many new ideas. They know how to use many new ideas, and they know how to make it useful.
Okay. The next chart is, as you can see, about our career services, especially for young business people. As you can see, I'm not as old as maybe you think. I'm 28 years old, and I know the challenges of do business or of do a career in sports, in the sports branch. So it's a big motivation for us, of course, to support the young businessmen and women. Therefore, we work together with different universities. So we founded a VSD Students Club. The membership is not such expensive as for the not students. So our mission is to connect the young professionals or the young talents with the high professionals as early as we can, as early as possible. Therefore, we work together with different partners. Maybe you know, I think so, the ISPO. ISPO is one of the biggest sports business platforms all over the world. We have a very strong partnership since I think Stefan released, I don't know, 10 or 15 years.
15 years, over 15 years.
Over 15 years.
Yep.
So yeah, our slogan is we bring sports business and people together, and therefore we work as early as we can with different people from the sports branch here, especially with students, to integrate them in the sports business branch and to connect them with different partners, with different job possibilities, job opportunities, and yeah, that's what we do.
Cool. So at one back, and especially it's important to know our main focus is on the professional sport managers in business. So, but we need a lot of talents to make the sports business fit for the future. So we wanted to connect universities to the sports business, young talents with the professionals, and so on.
Yeah.
And
So it's holistic. It's like a holistic concept. We don't focus on the special sports managers, not the big sports managers or small sports managers. No, we have our focus on the whole branch and all sports managers in Germany, as well as women as men, of course. And because we know of the sports market that, I don't know how the situation in Ukraine is, but the recruitment is a big challenge for the companies to find good good employees for the own companies. And so our part is to consult and to help them. Like Stefan said, it's a matchmaking.
Yeah. So at the end of our speech for today, we want to show you some insights of the German economic sports factors. And so Marco, if you want, you can go further.
I just wanted to do an Instagram story right now, but okay, I went with that. The sports economic factors of Germany. We don't know if you know the German market, the German sports market, so we prepared some facts and some data for you. The private consumption in 2016 in Germany was about 71 billion euros. That's about 6% of the private household consumption expenditure, so of the whole private consumption expenditure, 6% of that is just the sports branch, as well as products as services, of course. The value-added shares, or the GDP, in 2016 for the sports branch was 2.3%. In comparison to the mechanical engineering, and I think you know that the Germans are very good and international or the global leader in mechanical engineering. It's 3.2%, so the sports branch has a not bad standing in Germany in the whole economic factors. And the employment in sports in 2013 was about 1.7 million employees. We have information for you, 83 million inhabitants in Germany. So it's 4.4% of all employed persons in Germany. The next slide. Thanks, Stefan. That's the last slide. I promise with facts. The spending of sports sponsoring in Germany in 2000, as you can see, was 2,000 billion euros, and about 16 years later, it's more than the double. So we are today a little bit more than $3.5 billion spending on sports sponsoring, especially, of course, the big sports of football. As you know, Germany is very strong and very focused in the football branch. So the DFL, the German Football League, has a part of 3.8 billion euros in 2015, in the season of 2015-2016. And as you can see, in 2003 and 2004, the season of 2003 and 2004, it was a little bit more than 1 billion euros. So all we can see that the sports branch and the sports economic factors are getting more important and increasing in the economic importance of sports, of course.
Yeah. So,
Stefan, Marco, thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you. Еще раз хочу сказать, что вот
Once again, I would say that the analog similarity of organization of business cooperation, we would like to build in Ukraine, to develop it similarly, to involve students, to give the possibility to students to work for sports organization, to include new blood, fresh ideas. I think it's very important for us. And as I already told, we have Marcus, Stefan, thank you so much.
For your information, I think that maybe somebody will write you direct, so if you will answer for Ukrainian local communities, it will be very nice.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Maxim. And if anybody needs some support to create an association like us, we are connected to Switzerland and Austria, so why not to the Ukraine? Some of our East European members are from Russia, Ukraine, and so on. Feel free to connect or to be a member.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Greetings to Ukraine.
И сейчас, как я говорил, что у нас
And now, as I told, maybe we'll have a special guest. I'm very much pleased that this person has found a time to come over, in spite of the fact that quite recently, a few years ago, he was defending the honor of Maxim Postavonov. He is a basketball player. In my mind, he is one of the few sportsmen who is supporting one of the best Instagrams among basketball players, maybe one of the best Instagrams among the sports people, most interesting. And my question, why for you as a sports player, why do you need it? How much time do you spend for it? Thank to everybody. Hi everybody. Starting from the fact that building an Instagram platform was all of a sudden, I didn't know before that I would take it over. It doesn't hamper my sports, doesn't hamper my trainings and plays. How it happened that I started this Instagram? I have many friends in sports. So once I was scrolling the information from other sports, and I took my mind to find out why don't we have it in basketball. We have many players here, and in an excellent way for them to find a ball with the autographs of our team, or to get even the training. What is a moving force? It's very pleasant when I'm putting the task from Max. I have a rubric. The first time when I did it, I thought, well, one couple of persons will do it, and moreover, 40 people appeared to take part in it, and those guys were quite serious about enthusiastic. They invented some tricks. Some of them spent 2 days in hall to throw the balls just to win a ball without autographs. And it was a good motivation for me. Of course, first of all, I'm doing it not for earning, from raising some money, not for money. Of course, I'm developing my personal brand. I'm 32, and I'm already thinking what I'm doing when my career is over. One thing I'm thinking of, I would like to open a basketball school or section like in Lithuania. As well, main thing in this occupation, I would like to have as much as possible the people to draw them from computers, from some freaky things in their backyards, but to bring them to sport grounds, not positively volleyball, it could be athletics, in any kind of sports, the healthy way of life. Well, Maxim, you're yourself as a sportsman, you're playing for your club. What can you tell to your players who cannot find 5 minutes after the play, after the game, to put the autograph? I understand that they're very much tired, but is it that much difficult to spend 5 minutes? I would say it's not difficult at all. I remember in Zaporozhye, we lost our game. I'm very sad about that. Only the last second that they made a goal, I'm not in mood to talk to anybody. But I was honest. I went to the changing room. I took my guys. And I told that many people many young boys came from different countries, from different cities to see our game. And I think that it is a very good motivation. I remember when I myself was a boy, and I remember when a great player, came out to us to put an autograph on the ball, I would put myself in place of those young boys. And we have succeeded in that. I'm very much glad. Last question: how much time do you spend every day? Yes, I'm doing myself. I think it's about 1 hour daily. I have a task for the trainer. For a training, I want to make a task from some prominent personality. I know that I'm very much pleased that many brands and even the owners of small companies and restaurants, they already proposed to me, Max, let us make a summer camp for children, let it be in Kiev. Well, it is a monetization of the story. Yes, it's monetization, and there are many people who think in the same way like myself. They want to motivate children, every kind of sport, not positively, whatever. Let us thank Maxim. It's an excellent example how you have to develop the sports and the role of. I would like to invite once again Federica, because our foreign guest didn't sleep in the night. He came from London, and I am very much thankful to him. I appreciate very much, and I would like to make this small present. Do you know?
Thank you very much. Ну что ж, мы...
So we are coming to an end, and pretty much Tribuna Common Sports Club, we have 3 co-organizers, and I'm very much pleased that one of the projects of the Tribune, the Dmitri's blog, became one of most popular in YouTube blogs in Ukraine. I'm very much pleased that Dmitry found the time, how he created it, which content was useful, which was out of use. Is it worth to create a blog in YouTube or Instagram, or probably to focus on something else? Some concrete facts from our realities. Now we'll listen to Dmitry of his personal. Well, the last speaker is the best one, because today we have Liverpool West Ham play. We shall try to do it. First of all, I will make barefoot this presentation. I will throw away my boots. Why I'm doing this, especially that the girls and those who are almost sleeping, who would pay more attention, to draw their attention. This is a clickbait in YouTube. The first frame in YouTube is the thing for which you are clicking. So this cross, which I paid attention to in YouTube, and it's the same story. There's so much information, and it's difficult to sort out how to draw attention, how to make people to pay attention to your blog. You can make 3 sites and stream it, and your wife will find time to kiss you, of course. But not many people are aware of what is happening in NBA, how to make that your content is to be watchable, but not just to go through. Now we'll have a small presentation how the media has changed. 2004, that was the time when I started to work with the media or the TV and some main parts of media. Everything changed due to technology. Technology is changing the world. Similarly, the technologies change the media. The content, well, there were prominent writers and people who were astonishing the world, and similarly, the creation of iPhone changed the world. 2008, transfer to total digital information. Previously, there were film recording of data. Now they transfer to digital. 2012, Facebook is gaining new revolutions. 2014, the dynamic development of YouTube in the world and in Ukraine. 2016, the Sony FDR X3000 cameras was issued. This is a camera which I am using. What it gave to me, people for $1,000 can buy the camera and shoot cool content. The rank and file personality couldn't afford it to it. Even Sasha Labada couldn't afford it. And now 2016 in USA, the assets in USA for commercial internet made equal with TV. There are so many channels like Netflix and more digital projects, not TV. 2018 number of users in Instagram reached more than 1 billion, and in 2019 one of the biggest newspaper, Сегодня, was closed. The papers are dying, and the most of social networks which is developing is YouTube. For what you have to create YouTube? For what do you need it? To earn money, to promote some brands, Parimatch, Coke, Pepsi. What you are doing? Promote the brands or earn money? Maybe somebody wants to be a mind winner. Somebody wants just to entertain, or it is social project. This is the startup for the YouTube channel. Now regarding content. Our ST Video has gained the maximum in the history of Ukrainian sports of the subscribers. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo. This video collected more than 1 million subscribers and watchers. When we started it, we were having about 65,000. After that, it jumped up to 100,000. So it expedited our progress. More than 50,000 likes and 5.6 thousand of comments. In Ukraine, we have the largest, we have the more narrow audience compared to Russia or UK. Uh, well, if we take sport, very subjective, even taken without very in-depth analysis, our audience is 10 or 20 million people. In English speaking, it's plus 50 million people. So we cannot compete with English speaking or Russian. It's not real for us. That is why we are competing for our own niche, for Ukrainian speaking audience. When you're starting this channel, you must understand for what, which figures are you going to gain. If it is 1 million or very famous Russian bloggers, it's hardly expectable that you will manage to succeed in Ukraine. Because if you see our Ukrainian clubs, Donetsk Shakhtar, for example, it has 140,000 subscribers. Dynamo, about 50,000. Other 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers, smaller clubs. If you are the owner of first or second leagues, or you are a football player who are making the content from first league, you understand that your audience will be very niche oriented, and it's hardly expectable that you will earn money on that audience. What do you have to pay attention for? Content is not positively analytics. There are many videos, just entertaining videos. For example, these people, the channel is called Two Drots, they will just make some tricks and collect about 1-2 millions, and it allows for them to earn much money. They have 3 million subscribers, and every video more than 100,000 likes. It's a maximum interaction with the audience. There is no serious analytics. It's absolutely fun. There are no adults, experts who are telling you about sports. Just ordinary boys who are promoting, but they are getting more than very famous commentators of Russia brought all together. Another moment, it's a channel WS. It's a simple guy who is in the backyard spotting various challenges with his parents. So he struck the ball with ice buck and broke the nose. So it's a trash, of course, but trash is playing important role in YouTube. It's important that this boy can jump from roof to the garbage bucket. He can kick the cars, and it's in the backyard. You don't need studios for $1 million for that. You can. This is the main message. If you switch to Ukraine, one example of our channel, Vladimir Misura told that pretty much is a method. Difficult to earn money in Ukraine because we don't have great brands like Pepsi and Coca-Cola or McDonald's in Ukraine who are eager to invest money. Now we are pretty much who allows us to gain money. The revenues are brought by 3.2 viewers, 1.24 subscribers, 59 likes, 29 comments. It's not much of people who are watching, but pretty much is supporting our. It's what does it mean? That if today you want to earn, you have by 95 you have only bookmakers for your earnings. All the others are very passive and difficult to involve. For example, in our channel we have 2015 subscribers, and we can hardly say that we have a queue, people queuing to subscribe. Well, if you have another 10,000, you understand how difficult, how hard to gain. In Ukraine, it's very difficult to earn by YouTube, especially for which compelled the clubs to create the Facebook. For Instagram. For Instagram, it's much simpler because you need only the smartphone. Because when you want to start up the project, you think twice. Either you want YouTube or Instagram is enough for you. The main thing in every media is people. A man, the main sport, ability sport, is most important object in the sport. The, if you have enough specialists who would work with these resources and with these technologies, it's hardly imaginable. That is why people is the most problem active. Low salaries, a small number of bloggers, and low quality of content. Now in the sport we have about 10 YouTube channels who have more or less decent audience. It's very low. If you like, welcome to come. You have a lot of audience. Maybe in basketball probably you don't have it. I don't say about basketball, not about hockey. We started our Trindets channel. We were talking all the sports, but the audience was very niche oriented compared to 300,000. We had only 200-300. That is why we stopped developing other kind of sports. Business plan: how to earn in YouTube. First is monetization from YouTube. There is number of the of the viewers. Second, the direct commercial. You have seen pretty much Favorite, Pepsi. They are paying for promoting the brands or inserting the links. The third is the overview of the goods. And the fourth one, donuts. It's the case when your subscribers pay to you for creating the content. This system is very operational in USA, but in Ukraine it's hardly imaginable. First and second month it was more or less sustainable, but in the third month it dropped. So how much YouTube pays for 1,000 viewers? You should keep in mind that the number is very variable depending on the length of you will find out the cooler audience, the cooler economic of the country, the most money will be get from the brands. In USA, for example, the blogger can live, support himself only from monetization of YouTube. In Ukraine, 1 million, from 1 million subscribers, you will have only $300-400. It's not enough for you only to pay for the operator. That's why you have to make deals with brands like Parimatch. Parimatch saved the media. If you will go to any network, or well, in YouTube you will have only 2 brand sponsors. I'm very much appreciating Parimatch support because they saved this niche. Okay, further, the team. Our team, Trindets, what people they consist of. The leader is myself. I am the leader. We have the plot screener, we have the designer, we have the SMM specialist who are leading our social networks. I am the chief editor, and there is a commercial director who is keeping contacts with sponsors. Well, the machinery, our techniques, it's very easily available now. This is the bag which is enough for me to shoot the content. In this bag, I have this camera with the sound, with the screen where I can see everything I am shooting. You have 2 spare batteries and the charging device. Today is 25,000 hryvnias. It's absolutely enough to make cool content today. That's why if you want to make school video, it's not expensive today. My 10 rules how to create a content. You can see if you want the final story, of work which has already been done. To make an edition, first of all, you have to know the information. For example, some match or some person to have a deal with him. Or for example, one football player, with him you want to make a slam dunk. How to make it unique? We agree with a football player. We rent a hall. We want balls. We want the devices for shooting. After that, we make the shooting itself. After that, we produce the videos, and out of the material which we have shot, we pick up some not very big sectors. After that, we distribute through our partners and sites and internet sites. And we are fixing the final edition. Probably our screening was not very fit enough, so we make some tuning and final setting. If it is more than 10, it's very cool. That means you hit the ball. Well, in analytics, studying analytics, we can see what was good, what and where we failed. And the main numbers we can see from analytics. The 1 million of viewers, if we put $10,000, but the quality will be very low. Then we look at the subscribers, the length of the watching time. If your video is 10 minutes, at only 1 minute of 10 minutes is watched, you will see 100,000 viewers. But if real time is 1 million, means your video is garbage. You had a lot of commercial, but your video was good. If it is lower than 4, if your video is lower than 4%, it means that it is already successive if the length of the watching time is 100%. If compared where the less videos but more watching time, I would choose those videos which have more watching time. Now, the slogan, how you will make the slogan picture, the headlight, it should have big figures, big content, and you should pay a lot of attention to make an attractive headlight. CTR picture, first point. Second, the length of watching time. And the third is number of comments and likes. And the last one is the analysis of audience. If the main part is Kiev of audience, and second and third is Lviv or Odessa, we will make more materials with football players in Kiev, for example, from Carpathians and Odessa, because we have more audience in those cities. This is all whatever I would say concerning analytics. And the last moment is TV. TV is surviving hard times because the money which you need to spend in order to make a minute of video is an immensible. In YouTube, it's zero, close to zero. That is why TV is inviting bloggers, but more active video is for young. TV is for audience of 35 plus, and interactive audience is 35 minus. Our audience is between 18 and 32. It's most active. For example, if I am doing the meeting with the subscribers and audience, I know that I will have a lot of likes and many people will come because young people have time. The older people will never come to the meeting, or a very small number of people will come. That's why if you want to make cool video content, think whether you want Instagram or YouTube. Second, think whether you want to make, if you take YouTube channel, what will be the aim, target audience and the aim. and who will deal with it. Now we have a trend that there are channels where is producing the face, and it's making the top of something, top of accidents, top of football players, top of traumas, and those channels are gaining more viewers because audience need this contact with people. If you want to start your own YouTube channel or want to be a face of this channel, be yourself or find an appropriate person. Well, thank you for your presentation. I have two small questions. For example, you was talking about the cover page of your clip. I'm not afraid to lose a high percentage of loyalty of your subscribers because you are tracked only with your cover page because it's losing the reality. Okay, one by one. If you think that if you view the clickbait cover page, you will consider that it is not connected to the content. For example, when we are talking of Dnipro 1, we don't have Kolomoisky, but we may put it on the clipboard because he's associated with Dnipro, but we are not playing with it. Only those YouTube channels who are collecting the audience by 10 top traumas, 10 top accidents. We are bloggers. We cannot allow ourselves because every clipboard has my face. If the first clickbait he has my face and it loses, he will not take the second chance. Second question, you are putting the example that with one camera you can make a good content. But in your case, I think that not your camera, but your hero is on the top of your success. So how to contact the main hero, how they agree to take part in your blog, because I think for me it's very difficult to contact somebody and to agree. Well, very cool question. What influences the popularity of the video? For example, we had the video with Cristiano Ronaldo. We had 3 or 4 images who helped us to make it a virus. First one, his image. Second one, that it was connected with some event. The third, we wanted some story, for example, trauma or detective. And the fourth one, we made a raffle, and with this like a lottery. And these 4 factors were put in one melting boil. Sometimes we have a person who is not very recognizable, but still it could manage to collect about 300,000 viewers because there was, I don't remember, Yermolenko or someone else, but we had a subject there. For example, this is thing that like punch or beacon or anchor, something which catch the eye of a person, and then he will come back over and over. For example, we have not many football players, about 10 football players, Zinchenko, Konoplyanka. Maybe you'll manage to collect 100,000 in Ukrainian reality. There you have got trauma, detective, maybe some portion of porno, but thank you so much. Let us applaud to Dmitry, and I would like to invite Mr. Misura very much, Federico, and yourself for the family photo, because we are about digital and you are a part of digital. Probably you'll have to be in the center of the guest show. Could you please?
Ну что ж, коллеги, огромное спасибо, что вы пришли. Огромное спасибо всем тем, кто смотрел видеотрансляцию. Она останется в эфире, то есть ее можно будет также посмотреть и после. Также мы хотим пригласить вас 9
Later, we would like also to invite you on the 9th and 10th of March for sports marketing. You will have a lot of interesting information. You will have guests from La Ligue, NBA, Arsenal, and many other leagues. So there will be a lot of entertaining events. We are also, from our trademark, would like to thank all of you to take part in our first project. I hope that those colleagues who are watching for us online, they will enjoy it very much. And in any case, we and Maxim will expect for our feedback. But one thing I would like to point out, that it will be not a spotted event. We are planning to make 1 or 2 events every 2 months. And in such a way, if you help us to plan, even with some recommendations, which topics which advisable to pay attention to, will be, of course, fit to your opinions. And I think that Maxim, we have 15 or 20 people of interesting top managers, marketologists, who probably will express their desire to help us, and we will show you Ukrainian heroes also, like we call it in marketing technology, who are ready to create the projects. That is why repeatedly I would like to thank you on behalf of business to those people who carry very important information. Once again, thank you. Thank you, and see you later. Okay, we wish everybody to win.